Okay, so I want to tell a little story about this neighbor I used to have when I lived in Long Beach, New York. For those of you who don't know, Long Beach was the first place I lived in after I got out of the army in 2011. And for some reason, like a lot of people, I had this fixation with living on the beach. And now, I lived, 15, 20 minutes from the beach my entire life, but I wanted to live on the beach, no matter what it cost. I was determined to do this shit. So I find this apartment literally on the beach, on the west end of Long Beach. Last building on the block, and I could smell the salt and hear the waves crashing from my window. I mean, it was that close, right there. But it got old really fast. I ended up just hating Long Beach. I was bored. I was lonely. My friends were all back in Suffolk County. I had to drive 30, 35 minutes to see them. And I just got sick of it and ended up moving after 8 months. Now, thank God I did. This was Ashley, right? Ashley kept bothering me to move out and come back to Dix Hills. And God, I listened because about what, 8 or 9 months after I moved, Long Beach got fucked by Hurricane Sandy and my building was destroyed. It was completely washed out, flooded. Everyone had to move out, find another place to live. Thank you, Ashley, again. But, anyways, my neighbor was this guy, right? And I referred to him as Big Nose because he had this massive fucking nose, right? It was maybe the biggest nose I'd ever seen. And he was just in general about the ugliest motherfucker I ever saw in my life. And he was big and he was fat and he was just, as they say, a face only a mother could love. And he also happened to be a total fucking asshole on top of all of it. And he had some weird medical condition or something where his body temperature, he was always hot and sweating no matter what, no matter how cold it was. And since the heat in our building was central heat and you couldn't turn it up or down, we all had the same temperature in all our apartments. This guy would always open his window, no matter how cold it was. Like one night it was literally 7 or 8 degrees outside, single digit temperatures, freezing. His window was completely wide open. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? How can you be hot? It's 8 degrees. And he also happened to be this anti smoking psycho. Like the type of guy he just simply sees someone smoking a cigarette, freaks out. Yeah, that guy. And he claimed that my smoke, when I'd smoke in front of the building, would drift into his window and make him sick, which I didn't believe at all. I think he just didn't like me and wanted an excuse to fuck with me and be an asshole. And also, this guy was like 6'2", probably weighed close to 300 pounds. He was huge, a lot bigger than me, 2, 3 times my size. And unfortunately, I let him intimidate me, and I didn't really stand up to him. And this one night, I'm trying to be nice. I'm 30, 40 feet literally from his window, and still didn't matter. I know he didn't smell the smoke. I was too far. But he must have seen me outside and is like, oh, let me go fuck with him again. So he comes bursting outside through the front door, like throws me against the wall and starts screaming in my face. Oh my God, like it was just a bad night. I could smell the liquor on his breath. Pretty sure he was an alcoholic. Obviously, not a very good drunk. And then fast forward a couple of days, my dad's in Long Beach visiting me, and we go out to eat at this pizzeria down the block. And after a few minutes, he looks at me and goes, David, you want to tell me what happened? I said, what? What are you talking about? I had no idea what he was talking about at all. Because it was like out of context, the question. David, what happened with your neighbor? I know you got in a fight with your neighbor. And I'm like, no, I didn't. What are you, David? I saw it. Your landlord saw it on camera, and he was so concerned, he called me to come down to Long Beach and physically see the surveillance footage. And I was obviously just as concerned as him. And then I did a little digging on your neighbor. Do you want to know who he is, David? Of course, I said, who? Who is he? I didn't know. He was just a drunk, fat asshole in my building. David, he is the director of recruitment at Hofstra. My dad is a dean at Hofstra University, right? Yeah, the director of recruitment is the guy who is responsible for all the students coming into the university, right? Anyone who applies to be a student at Hofstra, ultimately, they go through Jeffrey Mon. They go through the director of recruitment. It's a big job, important and high-paying job. You know, one of the more important jobs in the whole university, any school. And I'm like, holy shit, are you kidding me? And my dad's just sitting there nodding like, yup. Director of recruitment. Unbelievable, huh? I said, yeah. You really don't know sometimes. You really don't know who you're talking to. Who people really are. Wow. So then my dad goes, if you want, he basically said, if you want, I can get this asshole fired. You know, I got a lot of pull at this university. I'm a dean. I know the president of the college. I know everybody. I can get this guy fired from his job. I can get him kicked out of the apartment building. Talk to your landlord. His lease is up in 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and they won't let him renew it. Just say the word, David, and basically he said he could fuck this guy's life. And I thought about it for a few minutes, and for some reason, I was just feeling nice and generous. And, this guy is, he's a big, bad director of recruitment, makes all this money. He drove a Lexus, too. But, he's pathetic. I don't think he has any friends. He's obviously single. He's not married. Probably doesn't have kids. He's just a lonely, fat, pathetic piece of shit that just drinks all night. Whatever. Just let it go. I decided not to fuck him in the end. And, hey, he got fucked a few months later anyways, because he had to move out of the building, like I said, with everyone else, when the building got washed out by the hurricane. So, what goes around comes around, I guess. And, so that is the story of, Jeffrey Mon, Big Nose, the great Big Nose. What a guy. What a fucking guy.